Here's a little video of old abandoned places of rural America. They're getting hard to find. It's not just across the Appalachians, but just across America in general out in the rural areas. Such beautiful old sites of our history. But nowadays, it's progress. The ongoing rat race. You can see here, this is the gateway to the Smokies. 17 million people come through here every year. Such a crowded place. But I try to get off the back road. I try to travel back into the old rural America that we grew up with, that where our fathers and grandfathers come from. They're still out there, off the beaten path. And you see stuff, endless fields of corn, just out of sight, beautiful sights of cornfields. And the big pasture land of all the cattle in these rural areas. It's just so beautiful. But here's what it's coming to. Condos and subdivisions. This is where our rural areas is going to as time goes on. Not most places, but a lot of them are like this right here. And it saddens my heart. This place is becoming so overpopulated from people retiring here. Now here's an old place on Chuck Swan, an old 200-year-old farmhouse from way back. This is what it looked like a year and a half ago. Here's what it looks like now. Yes, progress is even coming out in here. I reckon they're building a big old chicken farm here. Big old place. But that's just progress. And it saddens my heart in a lot of these places. But I love to get back off the beaten path into the old rural areas of where our forefathers come from, where they come in this country, and the life they lived. It's still there. You just gotta go find it. Old homes like this, of our fathers and grandfathers raising their families and their struggles. Old places gone and just about forgotten. Little rural homes of the small family, the common man, the hard-working man, trying to make ends meet, trying to put food on the table for his kids. Hard life. And the big old farmhouses you see up and down these rural areas, they're still there, but they're going away. Going away. Some are trying to preserve them from their heritage, and I'm so glad to see that. A lot of them are just about to fall down. The kids has moved on, moved off, parents has died, and they don't care. It's just the land it's sitting on. That's all that matters now is the land. Old places, old sharecropper homes, working these fields day after day. And the old farmhouses of the families that lived in, they're still out there. And the little old places along the old back country roads, just the common folk. Just for memories now. The old farmhouses, then the old boarding houses of all kinds. Back in them days, when people worked these farms and lands to make a living, crops, they were all but lost in time. I see a lot of these little places as I go back in the back roads. People don't even look at them. But I try to remember. Some are not that old either. But they're going away quick. Little old people that struggled, didn't have nothing, but they made it. And the big old farmhouses, people growed up, moved on, things changed. And the old country stores we used to go to as a child, there's a few of them still around out in these rural areas, but a lot of them look like this. And the really old ones of our grandfathers, you don't even see them anymore. Lucky to find something like this. But they're still out there, the remnants of them. People's made them into little shops and stuff. Little old country store. All the memories. And the old gas stations too along these back roads. Progress and time has left them behind too. Old gas stations like this. These are rare sights. And I really get off the back road sometimes into the little farm country, into the really back road, where I get permission to go, and I love to get in them. And I meet a few friends too as I go. Beautiful little horse, curious of me as I was of him. And I seen a little old fox squirrel here beside me, filming one of these houses. He was so beautiful I wanted to grab him up and take him home, but he wasn't having none of that. Ain't he beautiful? The old fox squirrel. And I see stuff like this that's still out there in existence. Rare to see these old sights. This is the old bathroom of the day. And the old spring house where they had water. It's still running. I've drunk this water many a times back in here. Nice old places. Some of these old places, the old barns and corn cribs, these are hundreds of years old, made out of these old chestnut logs, still standing. And these old homes, back in the middle of these hollers, they're just about ready to fall down, what's left of them. A lot of old homes. I see them, they're just growed up into thickets. You can't see them in the summertime. But I love to see them. Old places like this is in the wintertime here. Old family country homes on these farms. And this is what they look like in the places that I do get to go permission in. Nothing left of them. They're just rotting away or being dismantled. This is sights of them. And in the walls, you see old newspapers they use for insulation. I like to look at them just for the prices and the times that went by. But they look basically like this now, the old homes. They're just slowly going away. Slowly rotting down. But I want to remember them. These old places, they're a thing of our past. They're part of our history like everything else. But it's sad to see them go. But the good news is a lot of people are trying to save these old homes. They're doing their best they can to fix them up and preserve them. And I'm glad to see it. This old boarding house here. Ain't that beautiful in its day, I bet you? Beautiful old places. Now here is a house built in the 1850s. And I was filming this. And I happened to meet somebody coming up on the road in a tractor. You barely could get down this road. So he backed up to let me by, so I went down there and I talked to him, told him what I was doing. Well, I got to talking to him. And he growed up in his home. And me and him got to talking, and we talked for hours and hours. He even took me to his home. And yes, he took me inside this old house and told me the history of it, showed me the stuff in it, and so many stories of when he was growing up in his house. So that's a good story that I'll sit down and share with you here in a video or two. And this is his family back when he was little in his house. I'll just share this with you. So I'll make a video on just talking to old Bill. He's 92 years old. Bless his heart. So I'll show a video on this later. Now these old homes, most left of the old ones, it's just chimneys. If you can find them. They're so going away. But I get off the really beaten path back in the wilderness to where progress has not got here yet, and these old times is still here. Here's an old cabin foundation with a rock chimney of probably the first settlers coming in here. What's left of it in the middle of nowhere in these mountains. You can see the old frame here, the old rock chimney that's collapsed, made of rock. And you can barely make out the foundation on it. Really just rocks with logs around it. And I find stuff like this around too, happen to step on it. An old plow blade. It just reminds me of the struggles they had here, trying to raise some crops, put food on the table, scratch out a living in these old mountains. It amazes me I see stuff like this. Beautiful old sights. Now these old people, our fathers and forefathers, great-grandfathers, they're proud people, good God-fearing people that worked this land, didn't have much, but what they had they made or they done without. So I want to remember these people. I don't want them forgotten. Most are laying in these graveyards that people don't even know about. Only family. And it's becoming a thing of the past. So I hope you enjoy these little videos. I like to remember our people and our mountains. So I want to thank you for watching. God bless, and I'll see you next time.